Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you have a good afternoon wherever you live at. Well, I'm having pretty much myself trying to just get done doing laundry. In this video, um, I did a last video about white women and black men. Let's examine white men and some black women in this relationship and what their views is in this relationship. Watch this. Got 3 videos. Shot to O'Shea D. Jackson with the one.
Bank of America just admitted they're about to control every.
If you really want to make a really good YouTube channel, there are a few kind of niches that you can go into. But for me, the most lucrative that I would say that would keep you around for a long time are the interracial couples. Now, there are a few with black men and non-black women, but that doesn't really sell as much. However, if you're a black woman with a non-black man, you will do very well. You've also seen this with the Mighty McClures, the McClure twins, and things like that. But the more ghetto version of this, in my honest opinion, has to be the Queen of Kings YouTube channel. This channel features two unique personalities. One lady who was Rose Miller, a black woman who had black kids by black men and then left him. And despite her having multiple kids by a black man and being a single mom, she ended up with this guy by the name of Brett. And Brett was a white guy who solved all of her problems. According to her, Brett bought her a car, bought her a house, and did everything that black men would never do.
He's right, you know.
Andrew Brenner is an America First
Oh
conservative
boy,
delivering
God.
for Ohio families. Raised on a
God dang it.
And after marrying a white man, Rose Miller would go on to tell everybody this about dating black American men.
How many black men have you dated in your community? Yeah, besides your ex-husband, baby daddy, how many black men have you dated?
Maybe 2 or 3 besides him.
And so, you're done with black men?
Naturally, like if I was not to be with my husband, I would not desire to waste my time trying to find the right black man. Now, if I just somehow just fell in love, then I would be open to that. I'm not closing. I'm not telling people to open horizons while I'm closing mine, but they wouldn't be like my first option.
But then problems started happening in their relationship. She would expose Brett for being broke. He couldn't pay for anything. He actually ended up going to jail because she called the cops on him. I mean, she was just disrespecting him as much as she could. And there was a part where Brett Miller accused her of,
If you come here with food again, if you steal again, I'm going to leave you. Do you remember that? What are you talking about? Yeah, I have a sugar daddy that pays me $25,000. Let's send everything to the hangman. Let's do it.
yeah, he even calls her a hooker.
Damn.
It even got so bad that Brett asked her to stop. Like, literally, he didn't want to be on YouTube anymore. They were making a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. They have 1.23 million views on YouTube. So that's a lot of subscribers. They're also on TikTok. They also sell things. So they're doing pretty good. And I remember when they moved to Arizona, to Hawaii, they were still making a lot of income. And again, people started criticizing them for having this sort of failed relationship.
Videos, my husband was very uncomfortable with the idea to begin with. He's a lot more reserved than I am. I am a lot more out there. So I have definitely overshared our lives, and he's not comfortable with that, and he's no longer comfortable with it. And he's done it for so long to make me happy, and I appreciate him for that. But he's no longer comfortable with certain things like, people questioning his every decision or just making lies about our family that does not exist.
Woo! Now let's get back to this whole thing of Brett saying that he was really tired of being online. And to be honest, I believe him. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that really wants to do this. I do feel like he loves her and he loves the kids. and he also has his own children with her, and he's always disrespected. And to be honest, he's almost fetishized, like a big white guy with a small black woman. I mean, it's like very sexual. He doesn't talk down on black men. I mean, she's the only one that does it, but he tries his best to like be respectful of her, although it seems like he's having a tough time. And again, this is important to know because she was saying that Brett doesn't want to really be on YouTube. He doesn't really want to be out here like that. He wants to live a private life. But then we found out something else. Brett enrolls his own OnlyFans.
Now, what in the pasta and lobster is going on here? You telling me that y'all left black men alone because you didn't want to go 50-50 just to get with Chad and have to be the one to put the down payment on the house by yourself and then buy your own car and pretend like he gave it to you as a push present? The girls who have become influencers come into a lot of money. And, you know, trying to find a man who makes just as much money as she make a lot of times is challenging. So when they do get into these relationships, a lot of times they are the breadwinner and they fund a lot of the stuff dealing with the lifestyle.
I want to give a shout out to AC Reacts because I never heard about this until he said something. So give him a shout out. He did a really good video on the subject. And I had to go and do some more of my research if it was true. Now, of course, I did go and click on their page, on their links. Now, I actually didn't go and pay for the stuff. But I did go onto their Facebook page where they're really out here promoting this a lot. And I was seeing like her OnlyFans thing. She's basically bragging about it. And here we have it right now. April 1st says, finished the first quarter of the year with $58,000 from one platform without management. You guys literally watched the journey in real time. From $7,000 to $45,000 in 1 month. That didn't happen by luck. It was strategy, consistency, and knowing how to convert. I've been seeing all of your messages, but there's too many to reply individually, so I'm thinking of doing something special. How I scaled my OnlyFans step by step, the exact strategy that took me from 7K to 45K, how to increase conversions and maximize your income, a special shout outs on my personal OnlyFans. If you're serious about leveling up, this is for you. To join, subscribe to my Patreon to get access plus details. Let's elevate your income and your mindset. I'll see you there.
If you have ever wanted to land 100 to 150K a year.
Oh, I'm getting sick of it. YouTube only hardly let the doggone video go through without 50 commercials. Dang. Anyway, we're gonna go to shout out to OL.
Y'all, this is not my lane, but y'all know something we don't talk about? The difference between a black woman marrying a white man and a black man marrying a white woman, and how although that black woman married that white man, we can still trust her with our entire life. But on the other hand, yeah.
Black woman exposes her black husband as a simp while claiming to be pro-black. She says black women who date white men are more trustworthy and that white men treat black women better than black men. She basically explained that black men ain't shit and went hard to defend her stance when she got called out. She even said this in front of her black children. Think about this. Most of these wannabe swirlers and divestors are not even in close proximity of white men, let alone dating them. There's a collective of overweight wannabe divestors, and, let's face it, most divestors are like this, who create entire social media pages about interracial dating and worshiping white men, but there is not any white men on social media promoting wifing up and dating black women outside of monetary gain. Isn't it kind of odd how swirlers and divestors often call other women pygmies, but yet they are wearing hard wigs, practicing fake hobbies, buying books, engaging in online courses and groups, all just to attract a group of men who rarely marry their kind? Is that not changing yourself? Swirlers often have strict boundaries and generalizations for every other demographics of people besides white men. For example, swirlers compromise their integrity when they get with white men. Notice how they're always so docile and polite around white men, but nasty and angry when they're with others. They will say, oh, well, white men allow us to be feminine, but if you have to pick and choose when to be feminine, then you aren't feminine. Not to mention they get the oldest, ugliest, most saggy bald having white men around. This is the reality, and it's a photo a subscriber sent to me while he was on vacation. As usual, an old white man and young black girl, but the old white man makes sure he stands at a distance because he doesn't want people to know that they are together. Hopefully this black man realizes what his wife is saying about him online, and she is saying stuff like this.
Is my post giving out that my husband is white? Hold on, cause, you know, y'all gonna take. Let me show y'all something. Cause what we not gonna do is act like my husband is not black. Boobs. Like I said, I'm all for black love. This is hold on, because see, wait a minute. Talk some y'all love white. What are you talking about, sir? What are you talking about, sir? That is my. I love black love. That is just, you know, hey, y'all black men have to take accountability for how y'all are towards black women. Not all of y'all, but majority of y'all are like that. So y'all, unfortunately, have these black women going to other races. That's gonna treat them better. That's not my experience personally, because I found my black king when I was 19, and now I'm 34. I don't have to do that. But even my own parent have tried to stay outside her race because she was like, it's not working with these niggas. It ain't working. But that comment was crazy, y'all. That was crazy. You got me there. Not really though. Everybody clap it up for Zara on the Go in the comments. Because Zara on the Go said it's the same as mixed people with white moms being a little different than mixed people with black moms. Again, these black moms raise their kids to be in their blackness. They are secure in themselves. Whereas on the other hand, you get up here, you see these stories on TikTok to where these mixed kids was raised with white moms and they was raised to hate themselves and their moms did all this mean ass stuff. There is a distinct difference between a black man that's with a white woman and a black woman that's with a white man, and a black woman that's raising mixed kids and a white woman that's raising mixed kids. Thank you, Zara on the Go. Like, am I crazy? Because there's a difference. That is literally the same thing that I am talking about, Zara. They act like I'm crazy in these comments. No, there's a difference. It is. Whether y'all want to admit it or not, it is. Say you're not pro-black if you date out. Let's get this straight. True Freeman, just because I am pro-black, that does not mean that I am anti-everything else. Just because I am pro-black, that does not mean I'm anti-everybody else. You can love every other race and still be pro-black. I just love black people more. Because this world has taught us to hate black people. So I'm going to be pro-black to let y'all know that regardless of what the world says, we still the shit. So see, the thing about it is black men want black women to sit up here and just suffer. Y'all will go to other races and get them pregnant and lead them to be baby mamas too. And we like, welcome to being a black woman. Baby, y'all, at the end of the day, what we really need to be talking about, what you really need to be commenting, and what you really need to be making videos about is having these black men take a fucking accountability. Take a fucking accountability. That's what we need to be discussing. Because ain't no way y'all will go over here to white women, Latino women, Mexican women, Asian women, and make them baby mamas. It's crazy. And y'all get with them because y'all so don't like black women and do them the same way. So what is it? That's what y'all really need to be discussing in the black men community. So, but yeah, being pro-black again does not mean that I am anti-everybody else. I just love my blackness. I love my culture. I love black people. That don't mean I hate everybody else. But yeah.
Because he said, so let me get this straight, sis. You basically saying that one swirler is better than the other. If a black woman marries a white man, she's still loyal to black people, ? And can't be trusted. But the same can't be said for a black man.
And there was a whole lot of other stuff that Ski said in his post or whatever. First, let me start by saying this. I'm very, very pro-black. Look at my wall. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Black woman does not have to lessen who she is for her to be with a white man. Most black men have to put out their disdain for black women for them to be with a white woman. Commenters, please tell me if I'm lying or not. A black woman can get with a white man and she can be her authentic self. She does not have to lessen who she is or lessen where she comes from. She doesn't have to do those things. Then not only that, guess what? What else she does? She gets with that white man, guess what? She's still pro-black. Because guess what? We can do those things.
Really?
You can be with the white person and still be pro-black. I'm sorry, I just believe that because my thing is this. Black men put out their disdain and their hate for black women so much. Lord knows what these black women that went through with these black men. didn't sit up here and dated 20 black men and ain't none of them talking about nothing. Yeah, I might give it a little chance to do a little swirl. And then
Let me stop right here. No. I don't. No. There's a lot of black men that be sticking by black women. There are black men that go to town on black men. But it's just that the black men that I see, you don't appreciate them. You don't appreciate the one that talk this mess. That's not true. There are black men that do stand by their women. I've seen videos about it, that they didn't want to get with the other women. That's a fact. You just you take a certain percentage of women that because maybe the men that you want, that you will find attractive, didn't find you attractive. That's all what that is. That's all what that is. Not every black man, I'm going to state this for the record, not every black man, like some black women, go with opposite race. I have seen videos that black men say they want somebody like them resemble their mom. They resemble the personality of their mom. So that's a fact. What it is that black men, we kind of deal with certain personal issues, like you too masculine, you try to belittle him. Yeah, things like that. Some of you don't want to do what your grandma, your mom and grandma and granny used to do, like have a dinner on the table. Let them have a space after work. Things like that. Which every other race want. That's what the men complain about. They want to see most of them want to see you in your natural self. So that's not true. There's only a certain percentage, and it's like, oh, you go over, you see a small percentage of black men, small, out of a whole. Not every black man gonna go to another race of woman. That's a fact. But they'll look at the certain wealthiest black men. That's ball players, superstars, and they'll sit up there and put the seat and label all these black men. But you forgot there are black men, whether they Pan-Africanist or whether they call themselves Hebrew Israelite, whether they call themselves Muslim. They stand with black women. That's a fact. But I'm going to show you the reason why. And it's going to come from a woman, about what some black women do to men. What Chili did to her boyfriend recently. And this also pissed this goes across the board, men period, because there's probably some white women that do this to their men too. Gets on a man's nerves. There's a few that try to be their mama when they really want to be, talk to them like a companion. And when it was this interview, I'm gonna show you this stuff, and it seemed like all glitz and glory, but because by her being an older woman, she tried to make him feel kind of demasculate him. And men hate that. This is coming from a woman.
When you deliver with DoorDash, you get to choose when you do it.
This is another thing that get.
I think I'll do it now.
Now works.
What this woman said, exactly, I feel like a lot of men do in this video. You like to demasculate. You can't raise a man to be a man. You should stop telling men, I can't tell you how to be a woman. It takes God to assign a woman to tell you how to be a woman. It takes a man, God assigned a man to be a man, over a man. Or it takes God to raise a man and correct the boyish ways of his own self. And that's what gets me with some women. But anyway, let's go to this video.
When I saw this video, I said, oh, I get it. Oh, I see why. I see why they're not married and why it's very unlikely that they ever will be married. Welcome back to today's episode of My View, My Opinion. I'm your host, Sis. Thank y'all for joining, not just me, but all of us on today's episode. Listen, I got a lot of audio clips we're going to listen to together, but also I have a little special treat. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm actually going to show you a video. Not right now, so you don't have to look at your screen. I'll tell you when we get there, when you need to take your earbuds out on the treadmill and stop and look at the video. Okay, so again, thanks for joining all of us. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, I know some of you know about the recent controversy that she's involved in, where she's come out and said, it's not true, I'm not MAGA. I'm not having that conversation right now. I am going to have that conversation on a separate episode. So today I'd like for all of us to just stick to the topic that we're talking about today, okay? All right, so let's talk about it. So I was off work recently, and I am like a lot of you. Although I don't watch a lot of television, there are some programs that I want to watch, and I will just kind of like mark them in my calendar that, oh, I'll watch such and such. Now, I won't watch it maybe when it came on, it may be many weeks or months later, but I'll be like, okay, I know I want to see this and this and this. Kind of like how we do the movies, right? Well, one of the shows that I wanted to see was this program on Hallmark that Chili and her boyfriend Matthew Lawrence had co-produced called Second Chance Love, okay? It was only going to be a few episodes, okay? And I knew I could catch them back on Hallmark On Demand, etc., okay? So I was recently flipping, trying to find it, and I thought, well, let me just look at some of the promos, because, for all I know, it may wind up being a waste of my time. So I was looking at some of the promo interviews that they were doing, and I said, oh, that's why they're not married, because I wondered why they weren't married. I thought they were. I even thought they were engaged. But I learned they're not only not married, but they're not engaged. They both confirmed they're not engaged. Now, you may be wondering, why did I think that they were at least engaged or married? Well, it's because of things that they had said.
I love that. I'm watching your chemistry together, and you are very much in sync in this. When he's laughing, you're blushing. When you're blushing, he's laughing. That is super sweet to find. When did you know this was the right person?
I had a really crazy experience about 3 weeks before I actually met Chili. I had this incredible feeling of warmth, because I was going through kind of a rough time in my life, and I had this crazy warm feeling come over me, and then I had like this flash of this person turning around, and I saw like the outline of baby hairs. No joke. My mom can attest. I walked in, I was like, Mom, I just got this crazy feeling. I've been feeling really bad for the past 3 or 4 months, and I just felt really warm and good. And then I got this image of this lady turning around, and she had these baby hairs, and my mom was like,
because he never saw my face, he said, so he obviously wouldn't have known it was me that he see my face. But so now you have this image, and then you see someone who's, first of all, baby hairs aren't. We didn't have baby hair before Chili.
I know. And the crazy thing is that honestly, I'm in the plane, and this is after we'd already interacted for a bit at this work thing, and she was laughing and talking to T-Boz, and I was like overhearing, and I turned around, and I just wanted to say like, oh, I want to know that I'm listening and laughing, and I saw what I saw 3 weeks or 4 weeks previously.
Okay, did you?
So that is amazing. So, yeah, I'm thinking, well, they're engaged. But let me tell you why I thought they were married. Because, as I said, they got together in November of 2022, okay? In the summer of 2023, it was May of 2023, Chili was a guest on The Real. Y'all know The Real was still on at that point. And this is what she said about the two of them. So I'm like, oh, well, hey. So let me rewind this. Take a listen to what she said.
We gotta talk, Matthew, about Chili, because when she was actually here in May in the studio, she had this to say about starting a family with you. Let's see. Oh, wow. We're not married yet, so certain things happen when you get married, so we're not married yet.
Okay. Fashion.
Yeah, I like it.
So there was no doubt in my mind that she wanted to get married to him, and that they had obviously talked about marriage, because she was saying we're not married. Yeah, now sometimes, yes, as women, we jump the gun and we get out there and start talking, and the man hadn't said nothing, no decision's been made, all that kind of a thing. But this was different. Again, these are people who are older. At the time, Matthew was in his mid-40s, okay? He's 46 right now. She's 55, but again, they were just a few years older back then. So when I was getting ready to look at this program, I was like, why aren't they married? What's going on? And then I saw the video I'm going to show you. Take a look at this video.
I think I actually tried to get them to not put that on my IMDb. I'm serious. I was like, yeah, but don't put that on the internet. It's true. I have no...
This video didn't find you by accident. This is your chance to sell your home not to a low buyer. That...
It's true. I have no...
Now,
Watch
let me
this.
explain for all my young girls. What you see right there, what you saw, that is called emasculation. Telling a man to shh, to be quiet, first of all, is a no-no. But secondly, you never, ever embarrass, humiliate your man in public. I learned something when I was an investigative interviewer. What you see people do in public, they've already done it worse in private. Matter of fact, the reason that they feel so comfortable doing it in public is because they've done it so much in private. They've done it so much till the behavior is now embedded in them. When you've done something so much and it becomes such a part of your interaction with someone, you forget you're in public. You don't, or you don't care. Either one, either whether it's forgetting or you don't care, it's a terrible sign. I said she treats him like her son. You tell your little son to shh when he's talking too much, but you don't tell a grown man, especially a grown man that you're sleeping with, to shh, and you never do it in public. That's if you want your relationship to last. That's if you want him to stay in the relationship. I mean stay emotionally. You know, men can be somewhere physically and be gone emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that video, I knew why they weren't married. And it totally made sense to me. You know, I don't think a lot of women, in particular black women, understand the dangers of emasculating a man.
Boom.
It's dangerous to their health. I mean, I'm now talking science.
Boom.
The science is there.
Boom.
It affects a man's testosterone because it's a level of disrespect that's beyond just kind of, I guess we could say, just normal disrespect. It's bad for a man's health to be disrespected. And it's even worse for a man's health to be disrespected by the woman he's in a relationship with in public. So what I did was this. I said, let me look at a few more of their interviews because, you go down the rabbit hole. And let me tell you something. In every interview that I saw, now is that the same as saying every interview they've done? Absolutely not. Every interview I saw, she didn't tell him to shush again, but she was irritated when he talked too much, when his answers went on too long. I guess were too long for her. Again, you could see the dynamic there is that she sees him because he is younger than her, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it. But maybe in their case, maybe he is a little bit more immature than she would like, and so she's trying to mother him and treat him like a son. It's very important that as women we remember our men are not our sons. They're not little boys. Oh yeah, they may act like little boys, but they're not. And here's the deal. Your man may act like a little boy when he wants to, but if you start treating him like one, that's going to be a problem. And there's no point in fighting about it. It's just that, I was told by an older woman many, many years ago. She said to me, you can either accept how men are, or you can try to continue to recreate the image of what you want him to be in your head. It's up to you. And there are just some things that are just the way men are. So, if a woman allows her man, whether it's her boyfriend or husband or whatever, to act like a little boy without talking with him about it, because that's what a grown woman does. She talks with her man and she lets him know, whatever, however she wants to say it, but this, and this, these are things, a great line that somebody I know uses is, I don't want to treat you like my son, so this, and this, these things are problems for me because they put me in mommy mode. So there's all kinds of ways to say it. And a man will respect that, and he will stop doing whatever the behaviors are, because he doesn't want you to be his mom. No man wants to sleep with his mommy, okay? No man wants to be smothered to death. There's a difference between nurturing your man versus mothering him. And again, there are books on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's no need to say, well, how, why, what does that mean? It's all out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw her do that, and I saw the way he reacted, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, this has been going on for a long time. And he doesn't like it, but he loves her. Because the truth of the matter is, a man will stay for some time with a woman who's emasculating him because he loves her. But there will come a point, and again, I'm speaking science here, there will come a point when he just can't take it anymore because, well, it's affecting him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we talked about the science that shows that it reduces cortisol, which eventually reduces the man's testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So the man can feel this disrespect literally on a cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
And he will let it go on for some time until totally, and then he's there physically until he can find a way to leave. You get what I'm saying? So I will say to you all, especially since they've been together now for close to 4 years, and they're still not married or engaged, they're not going to. Even if he engages her, like, remember we talked about the same thing, except we weren't talking about emasculation, because we have no proof that Tracy did that. But we did talk about this. I just remember we did talk about this when we talked about Tina Knowles' video. Remember when Tina Knowles emasculated Richard Lawson on that video? Everybody who knew anything about men, relationships, men-women dynamics, they knew it was over then when she did it publicly. And she didn't care. That lady just didn't care. And it wasn't just that. I mean, there were other videos of her just being mean. It just seemed like, well, dang. Because here's the thing, when you don't really like somebody, you start being mean to them. That's just the way it is. That's human behavior. So I will say, let me tell you, remember when we were talking about Tracy and Dion, I talked about the thing, which is that, Tracy and Dion have been together 7 years, and then they got engaged in 2019. And they only got engaged, remember we talked about this. That there aren't any special couples. And I know we like to think that. Somehow or another, and I don't know why, we tend to think these celebrity people aren't like us. But we have to remember, money doesn't change human nature. We are who we are. Money buys houses, it buys clothes, it buys trips, it buys health insurance, it buys plastic surgery, but it don't do nothing to change who a person is on the inside, meaning their core person. I'm talking about their DNA. I don't mean make them more proud everybody changes like that when they get money. I'm talking about on a biological level, the very nature of men and women, that's not changing. and all of this change in society is still not changing. So anytime a man has said, I don't want to get married, which is what Dion had said, and a woman feels like, oh, but I'm different. My vagina's better. I'm so beautiful. You see, I'm going to love him better than all the other women did. And so see, then he'll once he gets with me, he'll see.
Mm-hmm.
He'll want to get married. And that man did not want to get married again. At least he didn't want to get married to her. So he went as long as he could until she started threatening to leave in year 7. And then he engaged her on Valentine's Day. And guess what? They were engaged for a few years, and when she finally realized it's not going to happen, he doesn't actually want to get married, or he doesn't want to get married to me, she ended the relationship in December of 2024. That's how it is. When you see an older couple, and when I say older, I don't mean 80, I just mean people who are mature in their lives. They've built their own lives. They have their own careers. When they get together, like we heard Chili say, of course these two had obviously talked about marriage, or at the very least she wanted to get married. To my knowledge, Chili's never been married before. And she may have come out and said all kinds of things about marriage, but I'm telling you, a woman who was saying on a program,
and this just occurred to me too, because, but when you think about the songs that these women were saying, and I was thinking about Taylor Swift, because she did the same thing about her relationships with men and stuff like that. But the difference is, Taylor, when she found the right man, she finally, I don't know how old Taylor Swift is, but she's definitely younger than Chili. But she know how to, even though she's a super mega star and everything, but she know how to let Travis be Travis. And he's seen something in her that she had probably certain wife qualities. Chili probably don't have wife qualities. And I remember some black women getting mad because he was going with a black woman, the white guy that he played for Kansas City Chiefs. And it's more like you have an unreal, and this can happen. I mean, there's white women out there with the same mindset, but the difference is that she was ready and she was willing to treat him, Travis, to be a man. I don't think Taylor Swift would do that to her fiance. Tell him to shush it in the interview. And they both make good money. But even though there's a chemistry, it's all about that. Simone Biles got her husband. He's an NFL, and I bet she have common sense to let the man be a man. Let him be the man that what God intended him to be. A lot of women, and then they hate on her because and they start picking at her hair and all that stuff like that, being shallow. And it's some women who hating on Simone Biles, they can't keep a man themselves. A lot of people that hate on Taylor Swift, they can't keep a man. They can't keep a man themselves. That's the fact. And so what happened is, you remember back in the 90s, they don't need no man, Scrub and all these songs that they make. It was like a precursor. They precurse women. So they have all these women in their age group. Those, because she's in her 50s. So I'm in that generation. And we heard all this stuff. We see the woman, how the way the mindset was. There wasn't, and it's new to me, not too many, only a few black women that understand that whatever you say, you take on the persona. Well, I'm independent, and you see Eliza Ray and Vivica Fox, and they up there close to 60, and they still don't understand. So that's why, and you see that there are black men that have money, but it's like the woman said, they want, and just like she said, they'll demasculate a man. Even the men that got it all, they don't know how. Some women like that don't know how to be a wife. They don't know how to be a woman. They're pretty, they're attractive. Some of them look attractive in their age, but they don't have the maturity. They don't have the wisdom. And if other women try to say, hey, you do that kind of, it's like you busting up their ego. And even other women try to say, hey, this is how you keep a husband. They wouldn't even listen to them. They'd call that a pick-me. But yet these same women will get online, some of them, and they get mad when they see a halfway decent, physically built dude with money and status and stuff with another female in his arms over another country. And maybe if they would have done like this woman said, see that hurts a woman's ego when you have to tell them that, and she's absolutely right. And what man wants to be demasculated? I wouldn't want to be. I had a couple women do that to me, and I didn't get on them and jump on them and I just walked away. I said, hey, you don't respect me. I know I have a nice face. I want to love you and respect you, but if you think you can kind of overpower me and over control me, and we got to be as toxic, whatever. Hey, I'm gone. I had a few women do that. And I'm being kind-hearted. He has a nice face, so I'm gonna roll dog this sucker. Well, I had a couple that did that. I have left one in the dust and never picked up the phone again. She tried to call me up. No. Is she boldly gonna come tell me in my face? I tell the women at the work, we ain't having sex. Yeah, I got you wrapped around my finger. Oh, really? Well, you think so? Dropped it just like that. And yeah, so, and there's women that, and then you have the women that said, well, if you men would do this and you do this, that's the biggest mistake. You don't tell a man what he do. See, a lot of women be online, the ones be talking that mess. That's why they can't keep a man, because their very mouth keep them single. You know, even there's an evil scripture in the Bible that, remember that Miriam, and you know Miriam, go to the book of Numbers 13, I believe it's either chapter 12 or chapter 13. And you know, what does that chapter say? And the church never, I know a church never bring this up. And when they do, they don't stay on it long because they're scared to offend women with Miriam's mindset. And you know it's bad when God himself had to sit the woman down because she went to run off at her mouth about her telling her brother Moses and getting his brother Abraham and saying, why did you go and marry another woman and bring it into our family? When God ordained, was okay with this woman being Moses' wife. But she got to run off at her mouth. This is in the Bible. And maybe someone might find us offended that come across this video, but it's a fact. This is a fact. What did God do to that woman? He sat her down, gave her leprosy, and then when he called them out at the temple or the tent that they had over there, and the Bible said he looked up at the cloud, and he told Miriam and Abraham with his situation, with his business, with Moses, or what has nothing concerned with them. And he heard the argument, so he tapped her and made her go out in 7 days outside the camp. You figure that the women that go to church, 90% of them would even matter of fact, and you got some women in the church that got that same mouth like Miriam, speak out of pocket, talk out of pocket, get so controlling. They probably like that with some of their husband. They don't know how to properly communicate to their husband, and they demasculate their husband like their sons or their boyfriends. And that's why you see a lot of Western women, a good percentage of black, a good percentage of white, and other women that are always single. And they be the same ones be online crying. Why are you going over there? All they going to do is the very one that's saying that is the very, oh, you think I'm going to cook for you? You think I'm going to do this for you? You ain't got to do shit. You should love to do something for somebody. I don't want to feel like doing it. I don't think and the very women, they say when they get 50, 60 years old, close to my age, they start regretting. They pushing 70 because they so independent. They ain't learned. Ain't that something? To live that long and you still haven't figured it out because you're so strong and independent. I know, and that's good that you're able to hold down your own house and got your job and career. That's nice. That you can bathe and cook. That's nice. The point is, can you hold the companionship down? And can you let go to the heart pains because some dude do you wrong, and you haven't gotten over that pain. So another dude with a different personality come along because he don't mix the aggressive assertive toxicity because the other your ex was because he got put you in your place like a child, practically threaten you because some women like that threaten borderline toxicity in some men. Because therefore they think that's a man. He has to get that point to almost to the yelling, screaming to physical. Then if it gets physical, here comes the police. Now if someone goes to jail, that's more money out your pocket. Go to court costs, that's more money out your pocket because of your toxicity. That's the truth. But when it comes to some women, they think that's normal. So some men don't want to deal with that, and they think that that's something weakest minded in this society. That's the truth. That's why you see the very women on here and that's why they don't stay married. They get the man, she's attractive. Why they ain't married? You got the bag. And then you see some of them be a single mothers. They'll have a relationship with a man like T-Boz, never married. If T-Boz was married, she probably would at least get spouse support. But when she sung those songs back in the days, independent, you blow your hands up in the air, and even other singers that sing that kept more women single than they have. They put a mindset into them. Men gonna bow under us. Ain't no man gonna bow under them. No white man, no black man. They don't understand this. And that's why men had to go across another part of the world and find a woman that got some common sense. So that's the case. But then you say that. But this video was to show you, examine on how since it's about black women, how some black women think. Black men most black men don't care that you're with another man of a different race. Some of you got that insecurity. Most black men don't, because we already know what it is. I wouldn't care. That's good you found a mate of a different race. I mean, if that's what floats your boat. But don't use that to justify what you're doing, because you're gonna have to, as soon as you be with that dude for a while, you into that culture, and you're gonna see more of that side, that white side. And there's gonna be different cultural issues and other issues. You know what? And the black man had to do it too, but you think you ain't gonna be able to express the way you do? You had to change your whole format out. Your whole person, just about half your personality, what you grew up with. Yeah. Because you know there's a dynamic when you get around your own people, and you miss that dynamic. Some of you do, and a good percentage of black women that do, they do succeed, like your Serena and Eve and all. But they ain't, they married. Noah's they married. Eve wised up. Serena wised up and married her man. The woman that prayed. Understand this. T-Boz at 55 still ain't unmarried. Think about it. Take care, be blessed. See you in the next video.